The world shimmered with life under Nanabozho's watchful eyes. He was a spirit of immense power and playful energy, known far and wide for his booming, infectious laugh that could shake the leaves from the trees and send ripples dancing across the deepest lakes. His laughter was the very music of the wilderness, a sound that comforted the lonely chickadee and made the grumpy old bear crack a reluctant smile where Nanabozho walked. Joy followed like sunlight, warming the hearts of all creatures. Great and small, he reveled in the intricate beauty of a spider's web glistening with dew, the silly antics of otters sliding down muddy banks, and the sheer exuberance of creation itself. His mirth was a gift, freely given, as essential to the land as the north wind or the gentle rain. It was the sound of the world celebrating its own existence, pure and unburdened. But one crisp autumn morning, as the maple leaves blazed scarlet and gold, Nanabozho awoke to a terrible silence within himself. He stretched, yawned, and opened his mouth to greet the rising sun with his usual joyful roar. But nothing emerged, not a chuckle, not a giggle, not even the faintest sigh of amusement. He tried again, picturing the ridiculous tumble of a squirrel missing its acorn. But only a dry, hollow rasp escaped his lips. Panic, cold and unfamiliar, began to prickle beneath his skin. Where had his laughter gone? It was as if a vital piece of his spirit, the brightest piece, had simply vanished overnight, leaving behind a chilling void. The vibrant colors of the forest seemed muted. The playful chatter of the brook sounded like mournful weeping. His heart felt heavy, an anchor dragging him down into unfamiliar depths of sorrow. A profound sadness settled over Nanabozho, heavier than the thickest winter snow. Determined to reclaim his lost joy, he embarked on a solitary journey across the vast lands he cherished. He climbed the whispering pine mountains, hoping the high, clear air might shake loose his mirth. He sat by rushing waterfalls, their thunderous power usually irresistible to his sense of fun, but their roar now seemed only loud and meaningless. He wandered through silent cedar swamps and across sun-baked prairies, searching every hidden glen and echoing canyon. He asked the wise old oak tree, its branches etched against the sky like ancient wisdom, but it offered only the rustle of dry leaves. He implored the mischievous fox, known for its clever tricks, but the fox merely tilted its head, puzzled by the spirit's uncharacteristic gloom. Everywhere he went, the absence of his own laughter echoed louder than any sound. Days bled into weeks, and Nanabozho's spirit grew weary. The world, once a tapestry of endless delight, felt flat and gray. He sat despondently on the rocky shore of Gumi, the great lake stretching endlessly before him like a sheet of cold, hammered silver. Watching the waves crash relentlessly against the stones, he felt a kinship with their repetitive, joyless motion. He remembered the effortless happiness that had once flowed through him, a stark contrast to the heavy emptiness he carried now. Tears, hot and unexpected, welled in his eyes, tracing paths down his cheeks. He felt smaller than the pebbles at his feet, adrift in a vastness he no longer understood. Was this how the world would be forever? Silent, colorless, devoid of the music his own heart could no longer make? The weight of his loss threatened to pull him under just as despair threatened to swallow him whole. A sound pierced the gray silence. Not joyful, but piercingly mournful. It was the tremulous, haunting cry of a loon echoing across the vast expanse of water. The lonely call resonated deep within Nanabozho's aching heart. He scanned the choppy surface and spotted the sleek bird. Not far from shore, its head was held low, its cries growing increasingly frantic. Nanabozho, despite his own sorrow, felt a familiar stirring, the instinct to help, deeply woven into his being. He waded silently into the cool water, moving with the stealth granted by his spirit nature. He saw the problem immediately. Delicate strands of discarded fishing net, nearly invisible, had tangled around the loon's leg, trapping it and pulling it down. Fear shone in the bird's red eyes. Forgetting his own heavy heart for a moment, Nanabozho focused entirely on the frightened creature. With immense patience and gentle hands, he carefully worked to untangle the tough, wet netting from the loon's sleek feathers and slender leg. He murmured soft, reassuring words, Words without laughter but filled with a compassion that was equally profound. The loon gradually stopped its frantic struggling, sensing the spirit's benevolent intent. Finally, with a last careful twist, the net fell away. The loon stretched its freed leg, gave a powerful flap of its wings, and then turned its head, looking directly into Nanabozho's eyes. It didn't flee. Instead, it tilted its head back and let out its signature call again. But this time, it wasn't a cry of despair. It was a wild, triumphant yodel that soared over the water, a sound of pure, unadulterated relief and freedom. Hearing that liberated cry, witnessing the immediate, soaring joy of the creature he had helped, something extraordinary happened deep within Nanabozho. A warmth, long absent, bloomed in his chest. It started as a small bubble, then grew, rising through him. It wasn't forced. It was an unstoppable surge of pure feeling. His mouth opened, and out came a sound. Hesitant at first, a rusty chuckle, then a deeper rumble, finally exploding into his full, magnificent, earth-shaking laugh. It rolled across the lake, startling the loon into flight. Shaking droplets from the nearby pines, he laughed with tears still wet on his cheeks, laughed at the sheer absurdity of his search, laughed with overwhelming relief, and laughed most of all for the simple, profound joy of easing another's burden. His laughter echoed the loon's triumphant cry, a duet of freedom rediscovered. Nanabozho learned a vital truth that day, carried on the waves of his own rediscovered laughter. True joy wasn't simply found like a lost trinket. It couldn't be chased down in distant mountains. It bloomed brightest when shared. When one heart reaches out to ease the burden of another. His laughter returned not through selfish searching, but through the selfless act of giving freedom. As he walked back into the world, his steps lighter than dandelion fluff, his familiar, booming laugh once again danced on the breeze, richer and deeper than before. It carried within it the memory of the loon's cry and the quiet strength found in compassion. And the creatures of the forest, hearing the beloved sound return, knew that the heart of the world was whole again, beating stronger and kinder than ever. Sleep now, little one, and remember that even the deepest laughter can be found in helping others find their song.